So I'm feeling pretty sad now. This is our last session. Yes, so Carl Clement, you met, Celine, Stefan, Michael, and Frank, of course. And the session is what's next for NAO. So let's talk about business models, let's talk about applications we'd like to write, let's talk about bringing communities together, let's talk about what we want to see, and most importantly, what is the user community we want to do with NAO over the next year or two. So, who would like to start?
Go on, Carl. Go on.
So I was hoping they were going to go last as I just ran up the stairs, but there we go. Well, first of all, thank you everybody for coming. Certainly for me it's been a brilliant event and well worth the effort that I put in to do it, and I think the other guys have already said to me how much everybody's enjoyed it, and that's all been because of who's been here and all of the stuff you've all been prepared to share. And I think that's a significantly important part of what the future of NAO's about. It's about the fact that we've got people here that have travelled from all over the world, that are all open-minded, they're prepared to share what they're thinking, what their dreams and their aspirations are for the future of NAO and the future of robotics, and just hang out and have fun. And I think the more we can do that and the more that we can get more diverse communities together, this has certainly been one of the first times for UK NAO where we've been able to pull in developers, academics, and a whole variety of people from different backgrounds. And it's been a different experience for me. Certainly anybody that was in the session where we talked about memory, it was incredible the different viewpoints that came out of it. So the first thing I think is that we have to look at this for the community aspects of it and try and pull together all of the different interested parties that are involved and try and keep that piece going. And I've spoken for far too long, so I'm going to give it to Celine.
Thank you. Thank you, Carl. So yes, it has been a great opportunity to be here. So we're talking about what's next, but it's good to see what you want to be next. So I get distracted very easily. I'm sorry. So a lot of you had a lot of questions about sometimes about having a roadmap for the next 3 years, and I know that's something that we also want in Aldebaran. We are not able to give a proper roadmap for like 3 years or 5 years or 10 years, but it's obvious because it's a company that still needs to grow and to work on and improving what we have, and it's something that is actually difficult to do, so it's normal. I don't know. Sorry.
Okay, Stefan?
So I'm not a NAO developer myself. I never used NAO. I never did anything with it actually. But I am a roboticist and like getting robots actually out there for everyone, literally. And what I've noticed is on the path of the whole developments and whatnot, where this is, there's enough knowledge, there's enough support, there's enough maturity, as so to say, technology. The applications are smart enough and advanced enough that, and there's people. A lot of you really want to help people, like for elderly, for the autism, obviously. And I think that if you think about a roadmap, it's actually really difficult to predict these kind of things. It's like pioneering. And what I'd always like to say is like planning, not making plans. So planning, you always keep planning. You don't. As soon as you write a plan, it's obsolete. So I would say even if you write a roadmap, it's obsolete the next day. So just keep planning and pioneering, and actually it's quite exciting, I would say, because it is going to be everywhere, literally, NAO and etc. But robotics.
Cool.
Michael. Thank you, Stefan. Yeah, well, this is, I mean, you're the future of you represent what the next will be. I don't want to talk about roadmap, as you said. As soon as it's released, it's obsolete. So I want to invite all of you that have a business idea to get in contact with us, because we can try to work it out together. We have seen some things that works and some things that don't work, and we can give you some hints. And we know some areas are totally unexplored and are waiting to be tackled, to be discovered. That's the exciting part of being a pioneer. Things of the Portuguese in the American continent. Just speaking, I think Carl, you mentioned that idea. It's mainly a communication challenge.
I think it is. I think it's a huge communication challenge, and it's something that very easily gets lost in amongst all the noise that comes out of things. But what I would say to everybody, and I think what I've learned, and possibly Michael won't like me mentioning this, but what I've learned over the last 2 years, when it was a bit quiet on the developer community, is the fact that was only a communication problem. Yeah. Actually, when Dave and I got up and went over there and talked to people, and we actually heard not just what was happening on, but all the things that were planned and where things were going, I do put a challenge to Aldebaran to communicate to us a little better, but equally I think that we've got to challenge ourselves to make sure that we communicate better with you as well.
Just one more. It is a definite will, and I think for the first time, it's the first time I'm coming. I'm representing more the business side of Aldebaran, and there is a will to have an understanding and help you grow. So yes, we'll make that better.
It works.
Yes, we're on video recording now.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Frank.
What I would say that there is a lot of knowledge in the community, and sometimes there were a lot of people on the forum, sometimes not. My point is that we need to share more, and the question is what we will do with NAO in the future for the next 3 years. It depends on us, and I think we need to work more together. And it's true that for the past few months I have not been active on the forum, because I started my company. I used to be, and I want to get it back, and I want to share more. And during those 3 days when I talked to different people, everybody has brilliant idea. Everybody is very good also in programming. Some are very good just in user experience. We just need to share more, to work on software, to work also, maybe also on hardware. We had a small talk with a few people earlier this afternoon, and the ball is in our hands. Let's just start. Let's do it. And I started it with my company, but as a community, we need to exchange more. And although we don't have paper right now, we will have, I hope, one day soon. But we can do many things with NAO. Let's concentrate on NAO. NAO is a reality. NAO is here. There is 6,000 NAO in the world. There are some customers, so potentially. But my point is that, yes, we need to share more, I think. We need to work more together. It's tough. It's because some are in US, some are in Asia, in Europe. We are our jobs, our family. It's very time consuming. I know a lot of people dedicated a lot of time on it, but we need to get back, and we need to invent the future now. And so this is what I only would say, and it's great to be here at this kind of event, because we can share ideas, and it helps people to get it back on the train, basically, to jump it back and to work again, and to give motivation, and start a project. If you can share it, share it. You will have more people with you on your project, and start to do simple stuff also.
I mean, this is really my advice and my point of view. If you want to keep on working on a project, if you start a big project, maybe after 2-3 weeks you're gonna stop. Start by simple stuff, and more step by step improve it, share it. And I think this is a way I kept the faith and I kept the motivation during those 2-3 years. So this is only what I would say.
Okay, cool. Thanks, guys. So it's over to you guys now. What would you like to say? Where would you like to take now? What user events would you like to happen? What business models would you like to happen? What services would you like to develop? What apps would you like to develop?
I think that the biggest barrier is that now it's only academic or enthusiastic people that are using now. It's not a community or thing that, it's not very common among other communities who are not technical enough. And in order to make it available to other people, we need to do a lot to make it easier for people to use it.
Someone like to respond to that?
Your question is to make it easier to use it?
I mean, only 6,000, and I mean, this program is running for years. And if you develop something only for 6,000 people, sometimes you say it's not worth the effort because it's too few. If you invest the same amount of time developing an iPhone app, you will get much more revenue back. So you need more, make it a broader audience of users.
Yes, and buyers, and I hope.
The price is reasonable.
Yes. So, but the price
is the next stage, obviously, when it's more affordable, and maybe the advertising crowd is the next crowd that's going to use most of the applications. It's just another step. As the internet started only in the academic society, and then the industry joined in, and then it became common to everybody.
But still, there are some business to do. If your question is also about business and the size of the market, and it's true, 6,000 it's not that much if we want to share the business. But there are a lot of business to do. For sure, the price, my point of view, should be lower. It will get lower and lower, I hope, because you will sell millions of robots, right? But
don't want it to go, I need a little bit more.
You charge whatever you want. The base price, we want more.
We don't want it to. You want to keep the quality. You want to keep to have all the latest features. You want improvements on a fairly regular basis. So and we want. I mean, you also to make a living out of this business. So no, I mean, price is good as it is.
Okay, as moderator, I'm trying not to say too much, but I would like to respond directly to that and say we're adventurers right now. We're charting new seas. 10 years ago, there was a guy sat in a college room writing a piece of software, Mark Zuckerberg. He's now one of the most important, most richest, most influential men in the world. He created a new market segment. That's where we are right now. So let's not get hung up on 6,000 users who can buy apps. Let's think, much bigger than that. What can we create that's maybe going to go international, global, beyond the planet? Where can we take this?
Zuckerberg started to test the idea of Facebook on a very limited amount of users, which was very and we can do the same with these 6,000 users, hoping that we will reach billions.
And I also think we need to think about where we've come from. It's very, very easy for the people in this room, particularly the people that have been on the developers program. I've been on it for nearly 4 years. And when you've had a robot living in your house for 4 years, you start to take it for granted. And every now and then it's really useful for me that I have people that come round who don't have a robot that lives in their house all the time. And they look at it and they go, wow, it stood up. They're still wowed by stood up. That's not going to happen forever. They're very, very soon, they're seeing them on the television dancing. They're seeing them on chat shows and things now. People are starting to recognise now in the street, Yeah, there's only 6,000 out there, but when Pepper was announced, the BBC had it on their news homepage, not their technology news homepage, their news homepage. Now that was only for probably 15 minutes until the next news story came along. But 18 months ago, you wouldn't have had a story about the release of a robot on the homepage of a national newspaper. You know, January this year, we got a 7-page article about now being used with autistic kids, published in the Sunday Telegraph supplement. You know, one of the most read newspapers in this country. Yeah? The world is changing. People are starting to become aware of what we've all been aware of for the last 4, 6, 10 years. Yeah? So, yeah, it's 6,000 units now. But everything that we're doing now is influencing how people perceive their future with robots will be. If you think about it too hard, it gets to be a bit of a scary task, but we are shaping how people will think and relate to robots in the future.
Actually, if I can add to that, oh, sorry. The fact that you touched on usability a little bit, where other people, it's not that easy to use yet it's never that for me even. I'm a mechanical engineer, you know. But actually, there's directly a business model in this, which is what you started with the whole service proposition. Like, you guys can earn lots of money actually doing this kind of stuff for people because you're the smart guys. And there's people looking to you to create their solutions, and you can easily, a company like you're doing, that there is really a lot of value in that, and you can see it in the old robotics industry in general. You see that, like, there's so much money being made in the integrations of robotic arms and whatnot. And actually, while I'm on that, there's another thing happening there. There's robot arms, etc., being made more usable and being people like me who can program them in one day. That will be the next step. I'll bet that is going to happen. Where there's going to be even much easier API that whatever random people can use it because it's a more higher level integration of functions, etc.
Dave?
Yeah, I was just going to say that, I mean, obviously there are certain things where we are dependent on Aldebaran, but I think also we need to think, you know, as a community we actually do contain a lot of experts. And so, as well as just, okay, you know, what are Aldebaran do next? You know, what do we want to do next? You know, there are probably things we can do, probably more than we think, that we can do, you know, as well as Aldebaran. You know, for example, a charging solution. You know, we don't always have to wait for Aldebaran. There's probably a lot of actions we can take ourselves if we realise that we actually have the expertise to do it, or if we get the other.
Namely, yeah, this is what we're looking forward to. We're making this lovely piece of hardware available that opens up the door to, yeah, that's all the continents that we know exist. I mean, the Portuguese didn't even know there was something out there. And so we know it's there, we're providing you the tools, and we're asking, bring it to what we know. We can do it to that extent. You're that close to the end user market. So yes, it's up to you.
Matthias?
Yeah, I have a question regarding the future of NAO. You said in your talk, Michael, that NAO is supposed to be like some kind of companion. So, and you just mentioned that you have a robot living at home. So, my question is, what are you going to do in terms of, for example, that the battery life could be improved? Because if you have to recharge it every 1 or 2 hours, then it is not really. I think it's not really usable for a normal person that you just have it living in his house, in your house, when you have to take care of it so much.
I'm going to answer that question in a very strange way.
Okay.
I'm going to say it's not necessarily relevant for what we're trying to do. to answer that question, because I think we've got enough to create a business model out of what we've already got today. It is my job every day to sell what I've got and not to sell something that I don't have or something that I will have. My job is to sell and to reassure people that they've got something really useful with what Aldebaran makes available today, or what Aldebaran's partners are making available. So be sure we keep working on improvements, whether they are hardware improvements or software improvements. But I don't think we need it.
Okay, so there are special plans to make it more of a companion or more...
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Yes, there are. My point of view is that when you want to improve something as sophisticated as the NAO robot, for me it's like an octopus with a lot of different tentacles. You can have a lot of things happening, a lot of improvements that you can make in hardware and software, everything. When I talk with people, everybody has his own good ideas and of improvements, like, oh, you should work on that, you should do this, you should improve that. And each time I say, well, yes, of course, yes, it's true, yes, we should, yes, that's a good idea. But at the end, I know we're already 450, yes, about 450, but there's still not that many people in Aldebaran to work for this huge piece of hardware and software that is the NAO robot. So that's why we need you, because you have the keys. You can have, especially on the software aspect, you can say, hey, I want that, let's make it. I mean, and I guess that the new community website and the store will help you to do it. Well, I hope so. We are trying to improve the robot, but we're also trying to improve the tools to help you improve your own robot.
I'm just to ape what everybody's been saying. I'm actually going to use Dave as the example. Yeah, if battery life's important and having it charge, and we want a charging solution, Dave's already started to build one. How do we build a team around Dave that can help us, that help us achieve what we want? Yeah, there are lots and lots of great ideas out there. If I made a list of all the ideas I've got from everybody here today, I could not go back into my office for the next 12 months and be a really happy chap, although a lot poorer. Yeah, there's a loads of things that we can do. If we want to drive down particular routes, if we want to turn now into more of a companion, we've got the tools to start doing that. Whether that's a case of building a charging solution, whether it's a case of I noticed somebody had redesigned the back panel on one of the robots that was downstairs, so that there were different contacts on it. We talked briefly about how easy it is to interface basic hardware to it. People have said, oh, Pepper's got a 3D camera. When's NAO going to get one? It's got one. You just happen to have to clip it on its head. Yeah, we've got all those capabilities. Let's as a community drive it forward, because I know that all of the good ones that we have, Aldebaran will want to pick up and help us drive forward.
But we can ask for improvement, new feature, 3D and so on. Have you seen on Earth a robot that can dance, write, read, tell a story, help disabled people, play with autistic children? Have you seen such robot? No. Today already we can do so many things. And with the API is already great. I mean, we can do so many things if we are a little bit creative. So we could ask for new stuff, new enhancements, new way to do new things on NAO and so on. But with a little of imagination, we can do a lot of stuff. And so again, the ball is in our hand. I mean, we have
to decide where we're going to take this.
It's fair enough. I mean, those questions are still there. I mean, it's not saying battery life is not important. It is definitely a key feature. Let's put it this way: if we were to start a business, what would we want to make sure of? We're going to invest our own time and our own money into a project. And how do we do that? I mean, we need some safety nets. We need to reduce the risk, and to reduce the risk, we need to count on what is available today. We can always leave the door slightly open for what we think almost 100% sure will come maybe in a later tomorrow. But at first we need to build on what's there today. And perhaps it's compatible with both what's available today and what will come tomorrow. And there we're covering a lot more ground and preparing for the future. But I think I made a point.
Sure.
Just sort of carrying on to that point, is it physically possible to have the robot wake up remotely? So, if you're coming home, somehow send a signal that the robot will be ready for you when you get home. Therefore, this needs to be on all of the time. That might help, contribute towards the battery issue, or some sort of remote wake up. Is that possible in hardware? Or?
It's a JavaScript.
Yeah.
command.
We saw an example with RFID. No, it was no.
Our is substantial one. I mean, but just going back to a very simple one, Atlas unfortunately has had to go, I think. Yeah. But what he didn't show you in his dialogue one was there's a piece where you can, if you ignore the robot, it goes, I'm going to sleep. And it sits down and it turns everything off. All the LEDs go off, everything goes off. And it just sits there using the smallest amount of power that it can. And then all you have to do is brush your hand over the top of its head and it instantly wakes up and carries on where it left off. Let's, like Frank said, I think one of the things we need to do is we need to find a way to bring together the really clever creative people with the really clever development people, because there's a piece for everybody here, yeah? And we can think of different ways to achieve things programmatically with adding pieces of hardware, but let's find some really clever creative people. Some of the teachers that are out there that understand how you get a child to be enthusiastic about a subject and get them enthused about using the robot to achieve that. This really is about bringing as many of these facets together as we can.
Frank, something more to say?
Just to give an answer, we can imagine a lot of things, especially everything about domotic house, smart house, whatever. You can plug a lot of stuff on now actually, or be connected to a lot of devices, hardware, and so on. So the use case you mentioned, yes, we can do it easily, I think, without any constraint. So everything is ready for such use cases. This is a good idea, creativity, and we can do so many nice stuff with little hardware or just.
Because if you're always coming home from work at a certain time or wake up at a certain time, if you're now can wake up just before you and be ready for when you arrive or are awake, then it's more companion-like. Battery.
Yeah, sure.
To take it down to a silly example, with the people that we've got in this room, why haven't we developed a robot finger so that when now sitting waiting for us to come home, your iPhone sends a little message to your network and the robot finger pushes his button. Done.
You can probably do something over Wi-Fi, though,
exactly.
Yeah.
Computers have wake on LAN. Ping the network card and then everything works out.
Cool.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask you. There's like a wake on LAN functionality already in the network platform now.
Can you answer that?
I actually don't know, is the honest answer. I don't believe there is.
There's no.
It's part of the operating system. About the motherboard, it's much lower than Albitron is doing.
Hang on, does wake on LAN work over Wi-Fi? It only works over a cable connection.
Either way, it's not set up in the.
It isn't. Okay.
Yeah, you can't set a wake up timer. There's no. We've asked the question in the forum in the past, and it's not.
So we're back to the big button, the big finger.
That's the only way.
Yeah, we try to make it sleep.
do different things like that. You know, it's not built in there right
Fine.
now. I mean, it could be.
I'll start on the hardware for the big thing.
Actually, if you plug in the power and it's sitting, and then as you come home and it stands up, it just pulls out itself. If you hold it steady, that thing
it drops it out. Yeah.
Yeah. And then with the chair, you just put it in the chair yourself. So intermediate solution is put it in the chair yourself, and then it wakes up automatically. And as it wakes up, stands up, pulls out the plug, and off he goes. And you have to put it back yourself for now. But at some point, somebody will invent a way to do it, bring it back.
Yeah. Good.
I'm totally different question. I think I've talked enough about Wake Up Mom. So we talked about emotional systems a lot this weekend, and I think it's one of the key aspects for now to get more of a companion that has emotions. So my question is, are there plans to combine all the different efforts that are made on the emotional side, and maybe even get it into NAO Key? So maybe instead that everyone does his own solution, maybe to combine the work and get it into a solution on the NAO.
I think Dave maybe has a partial answer to that.
I'd like to put a slightly different point of view. I don't think there's enough agreement in these things to say that Aldebaran should do it. I think instead perhaps Aldebaran's job should be to provide an extensible platform such that other people can do it. And again, I come back to the example about, say, Android. And an Android phone, if you don't like the keyboard, you get a new keyboard app.
Yeah, that wasn't my point.
So I'm saying, if Aldebaran provided a sort of mechanism where you could plug in a different model, then I think that's their job. And maybe have the default one, but yeah, it shouldn't be that, okay, there is only one model that is done by Aldebaran. That's perhaps not the way we should be thinking.
Yeah, I was more talking about all the people that are now working on that issue on the forums or in the community, so that they get their efforts bundled. Maybe it isn't possible because there's not one solution. So maybe.
Okay, so. In that case, I'd like to refer you to the emotional framework that Mike and I are working on, where we're trying to do exactly that. We're not trying to provide a model, we're trying to provide a way you can plug in a model such that other applications can use it.
Ah, okay.
I also really hope we don't end up with one model, because I think it's really important. I'm not being funny. Just from the discussions we've all had different opinions about how emotional this robot should be. Yeah, I'd actually like to be able to pick the model that best suits the way that I want my robot to react, not the way that Dave or Christy or somebody else believes it should react.
Yeah, I just want to thank them after I asked the question. So, but I agree. Yeah.
However,
so we've maybe got 5-10 minutes left.
Yeah, I think we need to say something on this. I mean, kind of whatever happens out there. I mean, you guys are going to keep doing research, and we will be developing. I mean, this is our field really. I mean, we are designing emotional robots. And we are going to make libraries available. Our robots will be able to detect more and more emotions, and this sensing and this detection is something you'll be able to use in building applications that will then make a difference. And that's more and more applications we'll have like that will make this robot become more and more of a companion. And this will be also built on or in conjunction with the autonomous life. So these tools will be available.
So maybe another way to rephrase the question is, if a group of developers came to Aldebaran and said, we've been working on this particular module to bring in emotional models or a gaming system or whatever, but we've worked in this framework, can they approach you? Would you be interested in perhaps rolling that into NAOCONF?
Yeah, tough one. I mean, we always welcome. We're always open to read new ideas, to listen to what you're keen to be working on. And we will understand that as also like something that will be like a need or some requirements that's coming up in the vision of what companion robots shall be. So yes, but on the other hand, I think, I mean, there's another opportunity which is, going towards like using the current tools, not necessarily looking at what type of companion robots now will become, but what type of humanoid robots now is, to make it a solution to other types of businesses than the business to consumer market. There is already an open door, and I think that's one of the messages that we try to get across during these few days. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Does anyone else have any? Come on.
In my line of job, we have a team that develops the core application. And our job is to interfere with the core application without actually touching it. So we have events before and after each of the services, which does plenty of retail things like a promotion engine, and then you interfere with the decision which promotion to be active, or you scan a barcode and then you say this barcode is an item or something else. So if there were ways to listen to events before and after each service to get the request and manipulate it and then send it to the service, or get the response and manipulate it and then send it back to the robot, then it will be more plug-inable.
That seems
And
very
it's not
technical.
part of the infrastructure now.
Okay, we're getting slightly off track.
Yeah, which just saying that it's not really a question, just a remark.
Okay, we'll take note of
It
that.
could be a part of the infrastructure. Then nobody will have to write his own service. He could just write on top of it and decorate it with his own logic.
Okay. Would someone like to make some closing remarks in this panel then, if we're done?
I have to say thank you very much, because I learned a lot these 2 days. I'm really happy that I had the chance to meet all of you. I knew a few of you from the academic point of view. I knew Carl. I had the chance to meet you, Frank. I knew the names of a few others, but I never had the chance to meet you in person. And you're really interesting people. You are pioneers. You are going to shape the world of robotics, and thank you very much for that.
I think what I thought is really like, with people like you, the future of NAO is really bright.
As I said at the beginning, as one of the people who's been involved in pulling this together, along with Dave and Mike and Christy and Alan and Joe, I personally couldn't be happier with how much fun I think everybody's had here. And I just wanted to say that when we pull these things together, they just wouldn't work if you guys all didn't come. And if you all didn't do the things that you do and bring up the issues and talk about the stuff, I find it really uplifting that we can pull together so many people from so many backgrounds into one place for 2 days, and everybody comes up with a new idea. So thank you for everything that you've put into this.
So I would just like to thank our panel then for this closing session, and I guess Dave would like to make some closing remarks for the conference. Would that be right?
I just want to say thanks to Joe, particularly to Joe, for the sterling job of the catering.
Come up front.
Shy.
Yeah, I know you.
I think everyone has said how marvellous the catering and the food has been this year, and I think it is thanks to Joe. And I think Mike has been running around like a blue-ass fly trying to record multiple sessions. He's done a marvelous. Well, I guess we'll see how well a job he's done, but thanks, yeah. And obviously, one of the important things about a place like this is we need somewhere to meet. And Ho's not in the room, but I mean, Queen Mary have been really, really kind to us, and Ho in particular has been spending his weekends helping us out and providing a space for us to visit. So I mean, definitely kudos to Queen Mary. They've done a sterling job for us. And that's it, really.
So I would like to thank...
Sorry, and one more thing.
It's a new Steve Jobs.
Yeah, well, I don't have the black turtleneck and I'm too fat. So we've now done 2 hackathons and a conference. And the question is, what next? We have some ideas. Mike in particular has ideas that maybe he'll talk about later. Yeah. But we need to know what you want from us. And so I think next week, hopefully we'll be sending out a survey to everyone here saying, okay, what did you like? What did you not like? What should you do next? Do you want a hackathon? Do you want a conference? Do you want a hackathon and a conference? Should it be 2 days, 3 days, or what? So yeah, please do, when you get that link, respond. And we'll try and do what you guys want to do.
So Dave, we'd just like to thank you. This has been very much your idea. You inspired us to produce it. You've done so much of the organisation. I'm constantly amazed that I go to check my email in the morning and you'll have been sending out emails to everybody at midnight. Have we done this? We need to do that. You've just made sure all the boxes are ticked and everything's gone really smoothly. So we've got a little present for you from UK NAO.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
That's it. Okay.